Bien, buenos días a todos. Gracias por estar y por acompañarnos esta mañana. Un gran saludo al director de Comunicaciones Corporativas de nuestra universidad, don Sergio Escobar, a la secretaria de Estudios de la Facultad de Economía, Gobierno y Comunicaciones, Paz Hernández, que además nos ha enviado un mensaje de nuestro decano de Comunicaciones, de Economía, Gobierno y Comunicaciones, don Luis Rivero, que nos han dicho que desgraciadamente no ha podido estar presente, pero nos acompaña de todas maneras en esta actividad. Del mismo modo, a la directora de la carrera de Publicidad, Alejandra Riveros, un especial saludo a nuestro invitado internacional, el actor británico John Rhys-Davies. A los profesores, a las profesoras del programa Advance en Comunicación Audiovisual Multimedia, a nuestros queridos estudiantes y a todos quienes nos acompañan en esta aula magna, fundadores de Universidad Central de Chile y a quienes nos siguen vía streaming. Hoy es un día en que confluyen las emociones y la creatividad, pero también un día para dar las gracias a quienes han contribuido a la producción del presente evento con nuestro invitado internacional John Rhys-Davies, a quien le damos las gracias por estar aquí en el marco del lanzamiento del programa Advance en Comunicación Audiovisual Multimedia. Agradecemos el apoyo, el trabajo de la Dirección de Comunicaciones de nuestra universidad en todo este proceso y en la instalación del Superfest, donde estuvimos durante el fin de semana, también la contribución del Departamento de Inglés para esta actividad y de verdad reiteramos nuestros agradecimientos a todos quienes están aportando para que nuestros sueños y los sueños compartidos de quienes queremos hacer y fortalecer nuestra universidad se hagan realidad. Las comunicaciones son un aspecto clave en nuestra sociedad del conocimiento. El programa Advance en Comunicación Audiovisual Multimedia, orientado a las personas con estudios inconclusos en áreas afines o personas con títulos profesionales como periodistas, publicistas, diseñadores, profesores, ingenieros en marketing, entre otros, desean hacer una contribución a la industria de las comunicaciones. Y queremos ampliar las oportunidades de desarrollo profesional y el espectro del campo ocupacional de estos profesionales. Hoy es además un día lúdico para la creatividad y las comunicaciones. Sin más palabras, dejo con ustedes al profesor Pedro Fodich, quien presentará a nuestro invitado John Rhys-Davies, y un fuerte aplauso para él, por favor.
Hi, John, welcome.
I have not the slightest idea what that kind gentleman has just said.
Parece que no es necesario la traducción, ¿no?
How many of you here understand what I am saying now?
Okay.
Wow.
A good number.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's get started. Yeah, you wanted to say something.
I wanted to fire
Go
some
on, now.
questions. Yeah. Well, in order to introduce you, I think it's complicated to frame you in a single part of pop culture. What I've been researching is that basically you are a moving force in pop culture. Different generations recognize you in different productions. For instance, my parents' generation recognized Vasco Rodriguez from Shogun. My peers recognize Salah and Paladin Taggart, those who like video games like Paladin Taggart. Younger generations will see Gimli in your face, and for the even younger generations, such as my daughters, I have two daughters that know Goodsword from Puss in Boots and Galahad from Tales of Arcadia. So, what
You're forgetting SpongeBob SquarePants.
Before that, ¿podríamos decir algunas cosas de lo que tú preguntaste, sí, a la audiencia? No todos entienden.
Let's translate. Let's allow him to translate. Okay.
Would you like me to say something? El profesor hace un recuento de todas las actividades cinematográficas que el actor acá al lado nuestro ha realizado en su vida y plantea que no es tan fácil poder, digamos, encasillarlo en algún aspecto específico, ¿cierto? Y la pregunta exacta es...
si se considera un motor de la cultura pop.
Okay,
una fuerza
if
detrás
he
de la
considers himself a motor of the pop culture.
culture.
Oh, wonderful. No, look, here's the thing. I'm just a working actor.
You were what?
A working actor.
Okay.
I think your mic is working. I'm not sure mine is. Oh, very good.
Should I be here?
I'm a working actor, and I come here today to pass on some advice that I wish somebody had given me when I was beginning.
Okay, no sé si será necesario traducirlo. Sí, bueno, él plantea que es un actor que viene para acá para contarle algunas de las enseñanzas que él recibió cuando era joven, devices, says.
I've already ruined your entire presentation, haven't I?
Indeed, but we'll have to work with it.
Okay.
Es parte de la presentación la que ha hecho, no toda. It's okay.
Just some notes.
Solo algunas observaciones.
First of all, your ethic, young would-be filmmakers and actors and writers. There is a great maxim: the drama's laws, the drama's patrons give, and we who live to please.
Hay una gran máxima, ¿cierto? Y la máxima es, could you repeat it?
The drama's laws, the drama's patrons give, and we who live to please must please to live.
Básicamente las leyes del teatro
Sí, las leyes del drama o del teatro
son las leyes de quienes patrocinan el teatro. Y aquellos que estamos en el oficio debemos vivir para complacer a quienes entregan estas leyes, ¿cierto?
The audience is the primary reason we are there.
La audiencia es la primera prioridad por la cual ellos están allí.
If you look after the audience, one day
Si sigues a la audiencia,
the audience will look after you.
un día la audiencia te seguirá.
How do you do that?
¿Cómo haces eso?
By giving them $35 worth of entertainment
Dándole cierta cantidad de dólares, 45. O sea,
for the $5 they pay at the box office.
Por cada $5 que la audiencia paga en el cine, uno tiene que entregar un valor de $35 de vuelta. Y esa es la forma para que uno siga a la audiencia y después la audiencia te sigue a ti mismo, devolviendo 7 veces el valor de lo que la audiencia entrega.
If you ever lose sight of the audience,
si alguna vez pierdes
Foco.
de vista a la audiencia,
you are doomed to failure.
vas a fracasar.
Okay? Never forget it's the audience first. The other thing that I didn't understand when I began my career
La otra cosa que yo olvidé cuando yo era joven
was that we have to work for the bosses as well.
que nosotros tenemos que trabajar para los bosses, jefes.
Para los jefes.
Bien.
Most films lose money.
La mayoría de las películas pierden dinero.
All films involve risk.
Todas las películas involucran riesgo.
And anyone brave enough
Y,
to fund a film
Y quien quiera que se arriesgue a financiar una película,
Claro, cualquiera que tome el riesgo.
que tome el riesgo,
needs all the help that they can get from the people they employ.
Necesitan toda la ayuda
de la
aquellos
gente
que
con la
están
cual-
colaborando en la película.
There is an American Marine major
hay una general americano, major,
who
Alcalde.
says to his troops every day,
que decía a sus tropas todos los días,
"What have you done for the taxpayer today?"
¿qué has hecho por la tarea?
And that's a question all of us should ask.
Y esa es la pregunta que todos debiésemos hacernos.
What have we done today
¿Qué hemos hecho hoy día
for the people who have paid our money, who have paid us today?
por las personas que nos han pagado a nosotros?
Have we given them value for money?
¿Le hemos entregado el valor suficiente por el dinero?
And I want to emphasize
Deseo
this
enfatizar esto,
because we are not employed by charity or charitable purposes.
porque no estamos empleados por caridad o por propósitos caritativos.
There are economic rules that determine our lives,
Hay reglas o leyes económicas que regulan nuestra vida.
and it's only realistic that we understand that.
Y es absolutamente realístico o realista que entendamos eso.
Now, how do we go about creating a good work? In the beginning is the word.
Okay.
Am I ruining everything?
No, please.
In the beginning is the word. In principio erat verbum.
En principio era el verbo.
Et verbum caro factum est. Yes. Anyway, somebody get that. Very good. It begins with the script.
Todo comienza con un guión.
Those of you who write,
Aquellos de ustedes que escriben,
when you write 5 or 6 wonderful characters.
ustedes que escriban 5 o 6 personajes maravillosos.
When an actor reads a script, he goes through and looks at his part. Some of them do anyway. Some of us actually read the whole thing. He will look at his part and go, "Oh my God, I can win an Oscar with this part." And you've got that actor. But write 4 or 5 marvelous, rich parts. Because if you can get the actors and you can get the director to tell a good story, then you are in with a chance. And it is about the story. We are all suckers for a good story. 100,000 years ago, our ancestors, and by that I mean all of us in this room and those of you listening outside, we are all multiply related. All our ancestors would sit around the fire and one would say, "It was a dark night." Felipe, or one equivalent word in 100 years ago, or 100,000 years ago, was there alone, and he heard a rustle in the bushes. He sprang up, turned, and saw to his horror. And we're already there. We're into the story. Tell a story. Write a script that tells a story. When you are Oscar winners yourself, then you can be more elaborate in the ways that you want to entertain.
May I translate?
Sorry, did anyone want to translate that?
Bueno, vamos a intentar traducir, pero básicamente hay dos máximas que nos entrega John, es que hay que escribir personajes que seduzcan a los actores y también historias que seduzcan a las audiencias. Cuando ellos entregan el guión, algunos, porque él dice no todos leen todo el guión, pero en algún momento van a leer y van a decir aquí me puedo ganar un Oscar. Y también lo básico es entregar una historia que sea conmovedora. Habla de los ancestros, todos nuestros ancestros, porque estamos todos relacionados. En algún momento estaban sentados alrededor del fuego y uno contó una historia donde Felipe, that's the character you invented, right? Felipe, right?
Felipe.
Estaba en una noche oscura, sintió un ruido en los arbustos y se dio vuelta. Y ya todos estamos involucrados en la historia.
There you go. It's the story first, and then you as filmmakers must tell the story through the lens, and that is a great art. A good director knows everything. He understands the history of art. He understands the way that the Dutch masters lit the room with light. He understands optics. He understands the way light can be distributed. He understands costume. He understands human psychology. He understands the way to get the best out of people.
Entonces, básicamente el director ve la película desde el lente, desde la cámara. Y el director tiene que saber de todo, tiene que saber desde la historia del arte, tiene que saber cómo los maestros flamencos ocupaban la luz para iluminar sus creaciones, cómo la psicología afecta al actor. ¿Estoy perdiendo algo, Mero?
Sí, está bien.
Claro,
sí.
el director debe saberlo todo para
Sí, el director efectivamente tiene que saberlo todo, lo sabe todo. Un buen director debe saberlo todo. Por lo tanto, concluyo por sus palabras, I conclude from your words that if the director doesn't know something of the story, we are not facing a good director.
The director must know as much as he can.
Okay, el director debe saber tanto como sea posible.
And he must be able to answer everybody's question.
Y debe ser capaz de contestar las preguntas de todos y todas.
And when you see a director like Peter Jackson
Y cuando ves a un director como Peter Jackson
handling his crew,
manejando su grupo de actores y actrices,
then you know that he has all the answers.
y ahí tú te das cuenta que tiene todas las respuestas.
So we dealt sort of with the director, we've dealt with the writer. The cinematographer's job is an extraordinarily difficult one.
El trabajo cinematográfico es uno bastante complejo.
Because he has to help the director, the actor, all the crew with actually telling the story the way that he believes, and hopefully the director and the writer and the actors do, with the maximum economy and efficiency. It's a very, very, it's the balancing points between science and art.
Okay.
En este caso habla del director de fotografía. El director de fotografía o el cinematographer tiene que lograr desde una noción económica, en el punto de equilibrio de lo que es ciencia y arte, lograr entregar un marco de todo lo que, de lo que los actores creen que están entregando, lo que el director cree que interpreta y lo que el guión ya nos ha dado.
Then we come to the actor.
Ahora vamos al actor.
What does the actor do?
¿Qué hace el actor?
The actor serves the script.
El actor sirve al script, al guión.
His part is...
Sorry, está al servicio del guión. Sorry.
That's all right. His part is to bring the character that he has to light and to life and to make it work with the other characters.
No, su tarea es que el personaje se convierta, lo que está escrito se convierta en personaje que pueda interactuar con los otros personajes.
It's not necessarily about my ego. It's about how do I serve the script.
No es necesariamente lo que yo quiero, sino que cómo sirvo yo al guión.
And you who become actors will find the older you get, the more important that becomes.
No, sorry.
En la medida que aquí ustedes que vayan a ser actores se van a dar cuenta que mientras más viejos se hacen, es más importante eso, desechar el ego y servir al guión, servir a la historia.
Well, that's a good start anyway. So go on now with asking your questions.
Okay. Vamos a seguir ahora recién empezaremos las preguntas. Thank you very much.
Do they really need them?
No, you don't need it. ¿Prefiero qué? ¿Quieres que baje?
Si no te incomoda.
No, no me siento cómodo, pero sí.
This I could probably do without a microphone, but there you are. Anyway, okay, fine.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, okay.
let's get into more specifics about acting.
All right.
You've performed several nationalities, ranging from Soviet agent, Greek mobster, a Turkish villain in Dogatin Solomon Mines.
Yes.
Then Salah, an Egyptian tradesman. Salah was a tradesman, was a jack
Digger.
of all trades. Huh?
Archaeologist.
Archaeologist, yeah. He was an
The
archaeologist.
best digger in Cairo.
Right, best digger in Cairo. Even all the way up to an Irish saint. Okay.
Yes.
So, how do you prepare? How do you work into getting into a different nationality, into a different accent, what are your advice if someone has to perform another nationality, which is not easy given the current times?
First of all, you have to see who the audience is. You can get into accents, the different accents, in such a way that nobody can understand you.
Okay.
When I did Rodriguez in Shogun, I developed a wonderful Portuguese accent. I got the first 5 lines out, and the director said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "That is a genuine Portuguese accent." And he said, "I don't care. Nobody will understand it in Pacoima. Just speak English. It's foreign enough."
Voy a traducir. Básicamente hemos hecho una pregunta respecto a las distintas nacionalidades que John Rhys-Davies ha interpretado. Ha interpretado desde un agente soviético, pasando por mercader portugués, arqueólogos egipcios, hasta un santo irlandés. Entonces la pregunta era, ¿cómo él logra encarnar estas distintas nacionalidades y estos distintos acentos en función de la dificultad que esto propone? Y nos cuenta una muy linda historia respecto a cuando él encarnó a Vasco Rodríguez para Shogun. Estudió, you studied for 5 weeks the accent? For how long you studied the accent?
What?
Shogun?
Shogun, that was 5 months.
5 months.
Yes,
Trabajó
shooting.
5 meses, bueno, previo a la filmación de Shogun, trabaja un acento, filma una primera escena como Rodríguez con acento portugués y el director le dice, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿De qué estás hablando? Habla en inglés y en inglés ya es bastante foráneo. Eso es básicamente su recomendación respecto a los acentos. Also, let's keep on talking
Yeah,
about
right.
voice acting.
Voice acting.
Voice
Oh,
acting,
gosh,
yeah.
voice
Acting is quite the challenge.
Yes,
how,
it is,
How,
yes.
how do you get into the skin of someone that it's not you necessarily, in terms of interpretation?
Well, the script, if it's well written, gives the actors all the clues he needs. But sometimes you look at the other actors and you think, they're doing that, I can't go into their areas or that area, so maybe I can find an area here, and that is very, very important with voice work, because we want the characters to sound differently. You know, we've all sat through those films where all the women are blondes, and you can't actually tell which is which when they're in long shot.
Okay. Hemos hecho una pregunta sobre su trabajo como actor de voz y qué es lo que él hace para poder encarnar un personaje que desde el punto de vista actoral no es él. Entonces, la primera clave que nos entrega es que el guión lo entrega, si el guión está bien escrito, te lo entrega todo. Y la segunda parte, que es muy importante, es la interacción con los otros actores, ver cómo el otro actor desarrolla el personaje para establecer diferencias. Básicamente establece un paralelo con algunas películas donde las protagonistas son todas mujeres rubias y en un plano grande uno no distingue quién. Básicamente evitar esa situación, evitar que no haya una diferencia entre un personaje y otro. La actuación de voz es eso, generar una diferencia entre un personaje y otro.
All actors approach creating a character in different ways. The great Sir Laurence Olivier used to sit in front of a mirror and he would put makeup on to see what his character looked like. When he found what the character looked like, then he began to find the character. Some actors find it through the feet upwards. They will go to the wardrobe department and try on different shoes, because the way we stand on the ground is very much the way we are. An old man will tend to walk a little bit like that. A young man will walk more lightly on his feet. That's an oversimplification, since I am an old man. But you take my point. There are different ways, and find the way that works for you.
Ok, vamos a intentar traducir. Básicamente, depende mucho cómo cada actor enfrenta el personaje. Sir Laurence Olivier se maquillaba y en la medida que se iba maquillando iba encontrando el personaje hasta el momento que con el maquillaje lograba entrar en el personaje. Mientras otros actores van de abajo hacia arriba, partiendo por los zapatos, entonces buscando la forma de caminar. Recién nos mostró cómo camina un personaje viejo en contraste con un personaje joven, siendo que él dice que ya está viejo, pero no le creemos, ¿cierto? Okay. We don't believe you that you said you're old. You're still young.
Many years ago, I did a show called I, Claudius.
You played Marco, right? Marco.
That's right. The writer, the adapter of the show, was a lovely man. And he told me what happened when he agreed to write it.
Hace muchos años atrás, él participó en una serie que se llama Yo, Claudio, y la persona que adaptó esto, que hizo la adaptación, le contó qué es lo que pasó cuando él aceptó hacer la adaptación. So what happened?
He read the book. He read the book again. He read the book again. He put the paper into the typewriter, And he thought. And a week went by, and 3 weeks went by, and a month went by, and the BBC called him up.
Okay. El guionista leyó una vez el libro, lo leyó 2 veces, lo leyó 3 veces, se sentó frente a su máquina de escribir, pasaron 1, 2, 3 semanas, hasta que lo llamó la BBC. And what happened when BBC called?
How are you getting on writing the series?
¿Cómo vas escribiendo? Nos ha pasado a todos, ¿no es cierto? ¿Cómo va esa escritura?
Oh, pretty good. I've got the outline of the first 6 of them ready.
Tengo ya el borrador de los primeros 6 chapters, right?
He had written nothing.
No había escrito nada.
Another month went by. How's it coming along?
Pasó un mes. ¿Cómo va todo? ¿Cómo va?
Oh, fine. I've got the whole outline roughly sketched out now.
Tengo el borrador casi completo ya diseñado.
A couple of more months went by.
Pasaron un par de meses más.
When are we going to be able to see the first bits? Oh, very soon, very soon. I've done 3 or 4 episodes.
Cuando vamos a ver los primeros trozos, muy pronto ya tengo los 3 primeros episodios.
And he hadn't written anything.
No había escrito nada.
And he'd already spent the advance money. And he was he didn't know where to start.
Ya se había gastado la plata que le habían pagado en adelantado y no tenía idea por dónde comenzar.
A friend of his called up and said, "Do you want to come to the club for lunch?"
Un amigo lo invitó al pub para almorzar.
And he said, "I might as well." And they were at lunch, and the friend said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I have a commission to adapt I, Claudius, and Claudius the God for the BBC for television, and I haven't even started it yet." And the friend said, "Ah, yes. All those Claudians, they're really like a big mafia family, aren't they?" And he looked at him for a second and said, "Thank you," and went home and wrote the whole damn thing.
Okay. Básicamente, el amigo lo invita a almorzar, le pregunta qué estás haciendo y le dice, me encargaron a adaptar yo, Claudio, y no tengo nada, no tengo absolutamente nada. Y el amigo le dice, pero todo ese drama de Claudio es como un gran drama de familias de mafia. Listo. Fue y lo escribió inmediatamente.
Sometimes it just needs one idea to shape what you are trying to do. You just need to grasp one point, and then the whole picture just falls in.
A veces solamente necesita una pequeña idea que le da forma, que empuja a toda la producción. Y todo cae dentro de esa idea.
Remember, I think it is Aristotle who says that if you have a problem, work at it, and then go to bed and sleep. And your mind will often just pop up with the answer while you're sleeping, in fact.
Aristóteles dijo que cuando tú tienes un problema, dale vuelta, revísalo, trabaja sobre él todo el día y después, a dormir, tu mente te va a entregar la respuesta.
Yep. Incidentally, and this is quite irrelevant, the American Constitution says, has a wonderful phrase, you know, that all men are endowed with these inalienable rights the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's wonderful. It's mellifluous. Jefferson was actually taking that from an English philosopher called John Locke. And Locke had written life, liberty, and property. But Jefferson did not want to put property into the Constitution because property included slaves. So he came up with this lovely phrase, the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, if you pursue happiness, you will not find it. Happiness is not a destination. As Aristotle said, happiness is a byproduct of virtuous activity.
Okay, let me translate.
Can you do that one?
I'll try. Él cuenta algo anecdótico que le llama mucho la atención de la Constitución americana. La Constitución americana escrita por Jefferson y básicamente, what are the three?
Life, liberty,
life, liberty. Okay,
and
life,
the pursuit
liberty.
of happiness.
Pretende consagrar la vida, la libertad y la búsqueda de la felicidad. Que esto lo saca de John Locke, de un filósofo inglés, quien él escribe lo mismo, pero él habla de vida, libertad y propiedad. Jefferson decide eliminar la noción de propiedad, porque la noción de propiedad incluía esclavos. El problema es que esta bella frase genera una situación abstracta que es imposible de llegar, básicamente, porque según Aristóteles, la felicidad es el producto que genera la búsqueda de la virtud.
You got that right, did you? Because I can't check on you. You could have said anything.
I'm standing them in my political party right now. That's what I'm doing.
Very, very good. Sorry, that was apropos of nothing. Ask another question, because I'm interested now.
Whoa, okay. We are looking at some images of your career, and maybe... okay, gracias. Gracias. We're looking at some images of your career. ¿Aló? ¿Puedo proyectar la voz? Yo creo que está bien, ¿no? ¿Ahí sí? Sí? Okay. So, we were looking at images of your career, and we've seen Van de Boeuf, Fortinbras, well, Gimli, of course. So I'm gonna go more into the narrative. Why do you think sword and sorcery is still such an everlasting genre? Still seduces and motivates so many people to watch. We have every now and then a new sword and sorcery production, a new sword and sorcery narrative. Why do you think that is so interesting? And what is your view on sword and sorcery? Le estoy preguntando, básicamente, estamos viendo algunas imágenes de su carrera, donde aparecen personajes, bueno, tales como Gimli, frente de Buey, de Ivanhoe, Fortinbras en La leyenda del valiente, y la pregunta es, ¿por qué cree él que la fantasía épica, la fantasía medieval, sigue seduciendo tanto a la gente? ¿Y qué opinión merece a John sobre la fantasía medieval?
I'm a science fiction man, not a fantasy man.
Oh, really?
I don't read fantasy very much.
Oh?
Why do we like fantasy? Well, because we all imagine that we would have done wonderful things in the past.
Él no es un hombre mucho de fantasía, es más de ciencia ficción, y dice, ¿por qué nos gusta la fantasía? Porque cree que todos imaginamos poder haber hecho grandes cosas en este pasado, en this magical past, right? En este pasado mágico.
We don't realize that, for instance, this is the golden age for women.
Nos damos cuenta que este momento es una edad dorada para las mujeres.
Up until the end of the Stone Age,
Hasta el fin de la edad de piedra,
the life expectancy of a woman was 21 years.
la expectativa de vida de una mujer era de 21 años.
You will find male skeletons in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even their 60s.
Se pueden encontrar restos fósiles de varones desde de los 20 años hasta los 60 años, pero nunca de mujeres.
You almost never find a female skeleton in Stone Age cultures over the age of 30.
Era casi imposible encontrar un esqueleto de mujer en la cultura de la edad de piedra que sobrepasara los 30 años.
Why? Because we came to dominance in the Ice Age. Certainly 50, 60,000 years ago, we had about 5 at least, maybe 6 cousin hominids. We had Neanderthal, we had Homo habilis, I believe, was still around. We had Denisovan, we had little Homo floresiensis, and we had probably 2 others at least. We end up at the end of the Ice Age as really the dominant hominid species. In fact, the only hominid species. Why? Because everything we hunted was bigger than us, stronger than us, faster than us, or flew or swam. How did we survive? We survived because the most intelligent of us found little marginal advantages that kept them alive long enough to pass on their genes. We selected for intelligence. Intelligence is linked to the size of the brain. The size of the brain is in turn linked to the size of the skull. And the size of the skull has to pass through a birth passage. And that's what killed our forebears. That's why girls died. We are the descendants of bright, intelligent teenage girls who did whatever it took to make sure that this baby lives. The past, those historical roles in the past, just glamorize what was really, to quote Locke again, a life that was nasty, brutish, and short. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll do my best. Básicamente respecto a los roles del pasado, ¿ya? Hace una reflexión antropológica pensando que en la edad del hielo nuestra especie llega a ser dominante sobre otras especies como el Homo habilis, el neandertal, el Homo floresiensis, porque básicamente nuestra especie logra obtener su comida cazando y dominando animales que eran más grandes, más fuertes, más rápidos que nosotros. ¿Y cómo? A través de la inteligencia. La herramienta que ocupa el Homo sapiens es la inteligencia. El problema es que el uso de la inteligencia significa un cráneo mayor. Y un cráneo mayor tiene que pasar por un canal de nacimiento, y eso implica que básicamente somos los descendientes de las mujeres adolescentes de 14, 15 años que hicieron todo lo posible porque los niños nacieran, porque naciera una generación inteligente tras otra. Por lo tanto, el tema que John tiene con los roles del pasado, que es una romantización de una época muy dura, muy cruda, sobre todo para las mujeres, y como decía John Locke, una vida dura, corta y brutal.
Nasty, brutish, and short. Very good.
Thank you. Shall we have the audience make some questions?
Oh, please, yes, yes.
Por favor. Vamos a dar espacio para las preguntas. Señor.
You'll have to speak up, dear boy. I'm old and...
Okay. Before anything, it's a pleasure seeing you again, Mr. Rhys-Davies. I hope you've been having an amazing stay here in Chile, and I hope you're having a great time here at this talk. So I wanted to tell you, you've been acting, you're an actor. You're a person of art, you're a person of history, you're a person that has been involved in a lot of things regarding art, acting, and everything. However, I'm a video game designer, okay? I'm a video game designer. Yeah, I'm that one boy that talked with you the other day. And I wanted to ask, what do you think the impact of video games will be regarding and being linked towards films, art, and history if we do it well enough?
There is always room for real imagination, a real story, and an inspiring sense of wonder. As long as you can create something rich and interesting, there will be a market for it. I have to tell you, though, I think your generation, is going to enter one of the hardest periods of human history because we are at a point where our technology is advancing faster than we can manage it. By 2028, we should have real artificial intelligence. It is estimated by 2034, 20 to 50% of jobs will be taken over by robots or artificial intelligence. That includes my job. Already there is enough digital imagery of me, and people will be able to punch a story into a machine, and the machine will recreate Rhys-Davies playing Hamlet or anything that I've never done before. Of course, they won't be paying me or my children. But your job, all of our jobs will come under threat. I met a lady the other day who was designing the prototypes for remote robotic surgery. And she said, at the moment, I can get a surgeon to perform surgery on somebody 1,000 miles away. But she said, very soon, with artificial intelligence, the AI will be performing the surgery, and it will be doing it better than the surgeon. I don't know how you are going to cope with that.
Okay. Well, that's
a downer.
Well, lo que él dice básicamente que todavía hay espacio para la creación de historias, de contenido muy rico, pero que nuestra generación va a verse enfrentada a un desafío muy importante, que es el avance en lo que es tecnologías artificiales, que eventualmente todos nuestros trabajos se van a ver amenazados. Entonces, eso es básicamente la reflexión que hay que hacer. Y él señalaba un ejemplo de conoció una persona que ella trabajaba en el desarrollo de robots que hacen cirugías microscópicas. Entonces, que estos robots podían hacer cirugías a pacientes que estaban a miles de kilómetros de distancia y eventualmente, además, no solamente iba a ser un doctor el que iba a guiar este robot, sino que iba a haber una tecnología artificial que guía este robot y lo va a hacer incluso mejor que el médico humano. I think I got that.
You are brilliant. I haven't a clue what you said, but it sounded very impressive. Very, very good.
Thank you. Shall we give the floor to more questions?
Oh, yeah, please, please.
¿Alguien más quiere hacer una pregunta? Señor. ¿Le pasamos un micrófono? El joven ahí, por favor.
Okay. No sé si me pueden ayudar con la traducción. Bueno, mi pregunta va enfocada hacia cómo se vive con el cariño y respeto a lo largo del mundo. Lo pregunto porque tengo 24 años, he crecido con El Señor de los Anillos, y para mí un personaje como Gimli no solo es como un personaje más dentro de mi saga favorita, sino que Gimli se transforma en un amigo. Y eso creo que es algo que ha estado a todos lados del mundo, y cómo se vive con eso, con el respeto y la admiración de los fanáticos.
How do you deal with warmth, with the love you receive as playing different characters? Specifically, he sees Gimli not only as a character but as a friend. How do you deal with all these affections and expressions of affection?
Well, particularly here in Chile, where I have just been part of this fan convention, you people are naturally very warm, very passionate, very welcoming. Chile is an exceptional society, and I'm not just saying that. I just happen to love you people. You are wonderful. But how do you deal with it? If you've really done the job well, then you cannot but love a character called Gimli. Gimli is the best of us and the worst of us. Gimli is that part of us which is xenophobic. I'm sitting in a room full of bloody elves and foreigners. He is hostile, suspicious. Why are you here? What do you want to get? What advantage over the dwarf people do you look for? He is aggressive. Come on, anyone want to fight? I'll fight him. All these aspects we have. And at the same time, he is capable of change. He is capable of overcoming his xenophobia. He can end up liking and loving his enemies. He is wonderfully protective. It was very interesting. I said at the convention the other day, you know, Gimli is naturally protective. He protects the hobbits, for instance. And that is what we as grown-ups do. How do we define a grown-up? I think we define him as somebody who will protect the young and the old, protect his family. And then I went one step too far and said, even from insults at Oscar ceremonies and things like that. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, that's going to be... Respecto al cariño y cómo él trata con el cariño recibido, bueno, nos hace mención de que acá somos extraordinariamente cálidos, hemos sido, y no lo dice por decirlo, sino que ya él estaba antes acá. Y respecto al cariño que recibe un personaje como Gimli, es imposible no querer a Gimli, porque Gimli representa lo mejor y lo peor de cada uno. En un principio Gimli es desconfiado, es huraño, es suspicaz, duda de todos y no quiere compartir con nadie, pero Gimli es capaz de cambiar. Gimli se transforma en un protector. Gimli básicamente es lo que nos da la condición de adulto, la capacidad de proteger a los más pequeños, en el caso del Señor de los Anillos, los hobbits. E incluso proteger de insultos como cosas que han pasado en los Óscares. Eso es lo que quería señalar al final.
The other thing about Gimli, the reason why we laugh at him is he doesn't know he's small.
Una de las cosas que nos da risa de Gimli es que él no sabe que él es pequeño, que no sabe que es un enano.
But Gimli is every man in a way.
Gimli es todos nosotros en cierto modo.
He is what we are and what we hope we shall be. Brave, honest, faithful, fearless.
Bueno, Gimli es lo que somos y también lo que esperamos ser alguna vez, valientes, fieros, sin miedo y honestos.
That was very good.
Thank you.
You're getting the hang of this.
Yes, I could make a living out of it. Thank you.
Very, very good. Okay, did that answer your question at all?
¿Respondió tu pregunta? Ok, perfecto.
There may be one other part of that. How do you live with being identified with such a remarkable character? I guess for some people, that's the only part that they will ever be remembered for. And that must be hard. One rule in life that I want you younger people to remember is this. Think of your life as a trajectory. You are here now. You want your life to go up like that. You want to peak near the end of your life, not like that. Can you translate that?
Otro aspecto que tiene que ver el hecho de ser recordado como Gimli y con un personaje tan extraordinario es el hecho que hay gente que queda encasillada y es recordada solamente por ese personaje. Entonces, como reflexión que nos entrega es que tenemos que pensar nuestra vida como una trayectoria. Y uno quiere, o él entiende como deseable, llegar a la cúspide al final o cerca del final de la vida y no en la mitad de ella.
Not peaking at 21.
Claro. No llegar a la cima a los 21 y después...
and then doing not that much for the rest of your life.
Y después no hacer mucho más con el resto de la vida.
The thing that upsets actors most is when somebody comes up to them and says, "The best thing you ever did, and it was 50 years ago."
Algo que molesta mucho a los actores que le digan, esto es lo mejor que has hecho y es algo que pasó hace 50 años atrás. Eso, claro, molesta.
Sorry, okay.
¿Tenemos más espacio para preguntas? Sí.
First off, I want to thank you for all your advices. And before you just gave some advices for the writers, I want to ask you what makes a character wonderful for an actor? Because I'm a writer, so I want to...
What makes a script wonderful for an actor?
A character.
A character. Well, something that I haven't done before. Something that is complicated, that I can nuance, that I can make shades of. Young actors want to play every line in the scene or in the play with the intensity that every line deserves. You can't do that. You have to pick your scene. what's the high spot of this character there, and there, and there. You want to create an arc and be able to modulate to fit it. So something that is rich, perhaps contradictory, something that makes your mind think. Go on.
Bueno, la clave para escribir personajes que sean entretenidos para los actores es primero un personaje que no se haya hecho antes, que el actor no haya hecho antes, un personaje que tenga distintos tonos. Los actores jóvenes tienden a darle demasiada intensidad a cada una de las líneas. Lo importante es buscar diferencias tonales de cómo este personaje se resuelve.
Something that with nuance, something with variety, something that makes me think.
Algo que haga pensar al actor, algo que le provoque al actor, que cause algo que mueva los engranajes.
Your story is a dream, right? Dream the whole picture. And that character may be the most important one. But make sure that this character is rich too. And that character, and that character. Make all the characters three-dimensional. Make their interactions matter. And make that dream really three-dimensional so that we can recreate it for you and even enrich it for you from paper to film.
Tu historia es un sueño, ¿ya? Y en este sueño hay un protagonista, y este protagonista es un personaje muy interesante, muy rico. Pero debes crear otros personajes que también sean interesantes y sean ricos, y otros más, para que interactúen, para que su relación sea interesante. Entonces este sueño tome volumen, tome forma, y que los actores puedan enriquecerlo y hacerlo un paso más allá de lo que es ese sueño.
Let me just detour just for a moment from the next question. The secret of success in life is really, really very simple. And I can tell you now what it is. Listen to this very carefully. No matter what your job is, if you follow this advice, I promise you, you will rise to the top in your profession.
Que va a desviarse un poquito de la pregunta, nos va a dar un consejo que él considera que es el más importante para tener éxito, independiente de la profesión que tengas.
It starts with shyness. Who in this room is shy? Wow, nearly everybody.
Comienza con timidez. ¿Quién en este salón es tímido?
Shyness is vanity.
La timidez es vanidad.
Shyness is us thinking about ourselves. I come into the room, I see all those people, and I think they're all looking and judging me. They're seeing an old man who's not standing up straight. Gosh, is my zip up? If I do that, then I cannot talk to you. If I am obsessed with me, I cannot talk to you. So how do you get round that? You turn it the other way round. I assume that you're all frightened of me. I assume that you're all nervous about meeting me. So my job is to make you feel comfortable. And that is at the root of good manners. Good manners is not about which knife and fork to use. It is, but not enough. Good manners is the art of making strangers feel comfortable. And whenever you go into an examination, whenever you go into an audition, or to an interview for a job, instead of thinking, oh my God, they're judging me, go in and look at the people, and you say, this gentleman here, you know, he's clearly mature, considered, he's a high achiever, and he's with other high achievers here. How do I disarm them? You say, sir, it is a great honor to be here. I'm very flattered, actually, to be in the presence of such bright and intelligent minds. And any advice you can give me, please, do so. Make them feel comfortable. I expect you all to be good at what you do. But the highest achievers of you will not necessarily be the most creative, the most skilled photographers. The most rewards will go to the people who are easiest to deal with. If you are accessible and people can actually relate to you, they will come to you rather than him. They will come to you rather than her. It is extraordinary. And that's actually something that took me years to work out. If somebody had told me that at the beginning of my career, I might have done something with my life.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Bien, este es un consejo que él, voy a partir de atrás hacia adelante, que él le costó mucho llegar a una noción, que le costó mucho llegar. Si alguien lo hubiese contado antes, habría hecho algo con su vida. Eso es lo que él dice. Ok. Básicamente, la timidez habla de la incapacidad de sentir al otro cómodo en una instancia. Entonces, básicamente lo que él nos invita es, al relacionarnos con otros, hacer al otro sentirse cómodo. Si uno se acerca, y pone como ejemplo el profesor Escobar, y ve a un profesor y dice, partir haciéndolo sentir cómodo, es un honor estar con usted. Y eso tiene que ver con buenas costumbres. Buenas costumbres no tiene que ver de qué lado se coloca el tenedor y el cuchillo. Buenas costumbres tiene que ver, o buenas maneras, tiene que ver cómo uno se relaciona con el otro. I think I'm missing a part, but
You're missing the first part?
No, I think I got a hold of
You
maybe
got
most of it a bit
Okay.
compressed.
Okay. Those of you that will teach and engage with young people must teach them this. Shyness is going to be a barrier for you all your life. How do you get over it? By making the effort. Teach the little one to say, good morning. And for some people, that's an awful lot. There will be some students here who find it very hard to come in the morning and relate to those around them, because those around us are brilliant. They are far more impressive than us, and they're judging us. Teach every child that you can how to say, good morning, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, madam. Just do it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day to every person that you meet. And as the days go by, put more energy into it, add to it. Good morning, man. You look fabulous this morning. I can get away with that because I'm an old man. But the more we react with people, the more they will react back with us. And the more we will engage with them. And when we do that, we feel good about ourselves. And we can then start to really shape our lives and shape the world around us. Sorry.
Okay. básicamente nos invita a todos a interrelacionarnos más desde pequeños, enseñarle a los chicos a decir buenos días, señor. El hecho de decir buenos días, el hecho de interrelacionar va a permitir que, primero, hacer al otro sentirse más cómodo y que nosotros nos sintamos más cómodos con nosotros, y pasa a ser un primer paso para poder darle forma a...
What?
shape
What?
to our existence.
Did I miss something?
Giving shape to our existence is the final
Ah,
reflection.
oh gosh, yes. Well, we can start to become what we. Oh God, you've got me. Come on, translate it.
Básicamente, lo que
The more confidence we get from the earliest age, the more we can realize ourselves and shape the world around us, shape our lives.
Mientras más cómodos estemos, mientras más logremos hacer sentir cómodos al resto, podemos darle forma a nuestro mundo, darle forma a nuestra vida. Eso. Tenemos espacio para... ¿Tenemos espacio para una última pregunta, joven?
Hello.
It's been a real privilege to be hearing from you all your great advices for young people. I have a question regarding your acting process. Throughout your career, you've had interpret a lot of different characters and worked with different crews and film directors. Does your acting process, does your acting preparation change from one director to the other, from one picture to the other, from one scale production? I mean, you've worked in big, enormous productions and smaller ones. Do you change your process?
Can I translate the question? El joven pregunta si el proceso de actuación cambia en función de el director, el tamaño de la producción, el tipo de producción, el proceso de actuación que trabaja John.
Some directors are liberators. Peter Jackson is a liberator. Spielberg, most of the time, well, the times I've worked with him, he has been a liberator. Some directors are prison wardens. They want exactly that and no more. They don't want you to do any more elaborate. That is what you're required to do. Working with those directors, I always find tedious, boring, and hateful. But you understand, and I only say this, all you accomplished professionals here know what I'm talking about. You will not always work with sympathetic, understanding, creative people. Sometimes you will work with people who really shouldn't have been given that much money to spend on a movie and will actually just grind everyone to the ground. I worked with a director once who fired the sound man in the last afternoon of a 5-month shoot because he was the union man who said, you can't go an extra 15 minutes after you've already been given 15 minutes, and he fired him. And he stomped off at the end of the film saying rude things about the crew having destroyed his picture and all that sort of thing. There will be joyless people that you will meet and work with. And part of our job as grown-ups is to deflect that, to gently perhaps liberate them a bit, but sometimes you just can't do it. Sometimes there are bad experiences and you don't bitch and moan about it, you get on with it. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. Hay directores que te liberan, tales como Peter Jackson, como Steven Spielberg. Desgraciadamente hay directores que no son así, que son guardias de prisión, que básicamente esperan que nadie se mueva un milímetro de la visión que ellos tienen. Y te van a moler, te van a llevar al suelo y te van a hacer pasarlo mal. Da un ejemplo un director que despidió a un sonidista después de haber filmado 5 meses, y al final de estos 5 meses, cuando el sonidista le dice, además también porque era miembro de un sindicato, le dice, ¿sabes? No nos podemos extender 15 minutos de los 15 minutos que ya nos extendimos, y el tipo lo despide y termina hablando mal de todo lo que es el equipo, ¿ya? Hay gente que no merece toda la plata que se le pasa para realizar una película, ¿ya? Y desgraciadamente tenemos que aprender a adaptarnos a esas personas y tratar de ser, ojalá, lo más profesionales y adaptarnos.
Do feel free to ask any question about the practicalities of being an actor. One thing that I do have to pass on to you is film is dangerous. Filming is a dangerous industrial activity. I do not want to work with you if you are drunk. I do not want to work with you if you are under the influence of drugs. Any time you are responsible for a piece of prop in high winds, I want to know that you are not going to be the person who undid the strap on the fender of the truck to move the truck so that the wind blows the wall over onto top of me, which actually did happen, and broke my back in 5 places in 2002. Right, so,
Okay.
can you do better?
Básicamente, sobre las practicalidades de trabajar en cine. El cine es una profesión peligrosa. En el cine pueden pasar cosas. Él no quiere trabajar con una persona que ha tomado, él no quiere trabajar con una persona que no está 100% en ello, con una persona que se ha drogado, porque no quiere que esa persona que dejó un tornillo suelto o que no dejó una amarra y esa amarra dejó caer una parte del set. En este caso, efectivamente, en 2002 le pasó un accidente que le quebró la espalda en la columna en 5 partes. Entonces, el cine es una actividad de compromiso. I think that would be.
A gun on a set is always loaded until you have checked it. Always treat any weapon as though it is loaded. There are no excuses.
Básicamente, una pistola en un set siempre se tiene que tratar como si fuese una pistola de verdad y una pistola cargada. No hay excusas. We would like to thank you for joining us. Our director has a small present for you, Professor.
Good God, really? Oh, I'm sorry.
Time flies.
You are a wonderful audience, and I am sorry that I have bored you because I do not speak your beautiful language. Apologies. I love you. God bless. Do wonderful things.
El director le va a entregar un regalo.
Oh, very good. Hello, my dear boy. Oh, is it chocolate? Oh, no. No.
Chocolate is there.
Oh, very good. Yes, yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for this.
Thank you for you.
All right, thank you. You're all wonderful. Go out and conquer the world, for God's sake.
Thank you very much.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, let's get into the. Oh, you go in the middle.
Me?
Sí.
Okay, no giggling. Very good, very good.
Thanks.
One more? Oh, God. Okay, and if any of you got any more questions, come on up afterwards. We'll might as well do that now. And good luck. Oh, and go and do some work, for God's sake. You're students. Take care, all you guys.